I mean, wicked can just be more than just a word, a descriptor word. Like it can be an
An
actual
adjective.
noun.
You,
Barding. Ah.
these
I don't know
things.
any of these things besides
How
Bree's
do you,
hockey
how do you?
journey.
We got our first hater the other day.
Shout out to my dad.
That made me mad. Now I'm triggered.
Oh, and god damn it! What a pro wants. What a pro wants. It's crunch time now. This is the time to really start tuning in to get familiar with the team before playoffs start.
And time to tune into the Fred Loves Hockey podcast.
Absolutely, it is, Dean. Thank you very much.
I don't know what episode we're on though.
Episode 83 of the Bread Loves Hockey podcast. And before we get too into things, I want to just quickly announce again that I am going to be doing a live stream on the trade deadline day, Friday. Oh wait, this is coming out on Sunday.
Yeah, I was about to say. I could try to edit it before then if you want.
No, never mind. Well, then I hope you had a
Hope
really
you
fun
enjoyed.
time. I had a blast, hopefully. I mean, I definitely did.
There were so many huge trades that none of us expected.
Yeah, can you believe the McDavid trade? Oh my god. No. But it will hopefully be a fun time. Maybe Dean will be able to pop in every once in a while. And I mean, it'll be during the workday, or it'll have been during the workday, so
Right? It's
I guess we'll see
3
how many people
Eastern
tune in.
time, right? 3 p.m. Eastern is when it officially is done.
I think it's 5 Eastern is the deadline.
Maybe I'm thinking 3 Mountain time then.
That's probably it then. Yeah, because that would line up.
See.
3 p.m.
if I was-
Eastern. No, you're right. It is. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's 3 p.m. Okay.
Yeah, because I always remember that because it's like noon Pacific.
Noon Pacific. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, I guess, I mean, usually there's like a handful of trades that come in after the fact, like a few minutes afterwards.
Yeah.
But they've like been officially placed to the league before then. So, I'll probably stick around till I don't know 3:30 or whatever. We will be playing bingo. I made a bingo card of some fun scenarios and trades and things like that. So hopefully that was a good time. Hopefully got a bingo, or actually I replaced it and did trade. So hopefully we got a trade as our
There you go.
successful score.
Well, last year it was the like the hurdle trade was that a last minute one, right?
It came in like I think it was like right after the deadline. It's like, hold on. It was like 3:05 or 3:10 and someone goes, I'm hearing something huge involving Vegas and or whatever, and it's like, wait, what? So that one was that was a nice one to end the day on. It's like, okay, one more massive splash.
Yeah.
Will be fun. I mean, everybody except for Vegas hated that trade because they were like, what are you doing? No!
How they always do this.
Yeah. And I'm not expecting anything super big this year, just because that's basically what Kelly McCrimmon said. Like, things could change depending on like an offer that he's able to have another team accept. But I think it'll be a little bit quieter. They don't really need a ton. Like, we still have a really solid core. I think maybe they'll pick up a winger, maybe get a depth defenseman. I really don't expect, or maybe a center, because it's always good to grab those. But they're kind of in short supply right now, as we're seeing, and it's definitely a seller's market because there's so many buyers, so many teams that have legitimate chances, or at least they think they do, to still qualify the playoffs or potentially make a run. So we've seen some trade activity over the last week or so since we last chatted with you all. It's been good. We've had some good ones, some sad ones for Dean. We'll get into that, but not so sad maybe.
Yeah, it's okay. Could have been worse.
So I'm thinking, was the Nyquist? I think that one was. Oh wait, no, we have to go further back than that.
Yeah, like I said, we recorded last Wednesday. I was like, did we talk about Ville Husso?
We did talk about Husso, yes.
Okay.
I know
So we
that. So
recorded on the 26th. Don't know if we talked about the Tampa,
the
Nashville.
Jesse Ulonen. Yeah. So he was in Montreal for a little bit, and then Tampa traded for him. I think he went on waivers for a little while, and then they ended up trading him to Nashville for center Anthony Angelo, which is a fun name.
Yeah.
So that was a little more of a minor deal. We also had another minor deal. Kings acquire Joseph uh, Ciccone or Ciccone. I think it's probably Ch. Right D in exchange for Tyler Madden, who goes to the Wild. So I was not familiar with that one, but you know what?
Yeah. A couple small trades.
We'll throw it in there. And then the big deal March 1st, which was just a few days ago, with the Colorado Avalanche and the Rangers. So Ryan Lindgren, Jimmy Vesey, and defenseman Hank Kempf head to Colorado in exchange for Juuso Parssinen, Calvin DeHaan, Carolina's 2025 second round pick, and the Avs 2025 fourth round pick. I think there's conditions. Oh yeah, just I think New York gets the better of the picks, because Colorado has the Canes and the Vancouvers for the second and fourth. So
Yeah.
that one was a big one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good trade for Colorado. Well, I guess we can start with the Colorado side. Like BC will help with their forward depth, and then I saw Lindgren was playing on the third pairing last night. I mean, and I heard that Colorado, I don't think is done. Maybe.
I don't think
Well, I
they
guess
are either.
like you never know, but I think they're probably gonna look to do more. But that's like a good start. Just two depth. I don't know anything about Hank Kemp. He's if anything a seventh D or lower, I would imagine. But
Yeah.
VC and Lindgren. I think I heard that like well Lindgren kind of plays like a tough game and they didn't really have any defenders like that. Obviously they have Makar and Taze who are like superstars, but no one to be like a gritty third pair of guys. So now they
I,
do.
yeah, I think he slots in pretty well. Like that makes a lot of sense in my mind. So pretty good, pretty smart pickup. I mean, they trade out Calvin DeHaan, but it's real. I mean, I think that's an upgrade as far as what you're getting offensively and defensively. Like, I
And
think,
DeHaan wasn't playing a lot of minutes for him or Parsonen. Like they weren't playing
yeah,
too much. So
Parsonen didn't really work out. They like tried him a little bit this year. I think they grabbed him off waivers, or maybe there was a small trade for him, but he didn't really end up panning
yeah,
out.
you're basically paying some picks to upgrade a forward and a defender.
Yeah, and Lindgren's 6 years younger than DeHaan, which
That
is
helps. Yeah.
which is a plus. Um, so yeah, I think this is pretty smart by them. I mean, for the Rangers, like I guess they, I don't really know why they weren't able to keep Lindgren or why they wouldn't want to have him stick around. But I think DeHaan spent some time with the Rangers before, get a couple of assets. Just I don't know. It seemed you wouldn't have thought that they would be selling because of how they're pushing, but still depth pieces. Like VC is nothing to write home about offensively. Obviously, we don't know much about Kempf, and then sounds like they must have a decent replacement on D for Lindgren. Oh well, I mean I guess yeah, DeHaan.
Yeah. I mean, the Rangers are in the second wild card spot right now. So yeah, you wouldn't think they'd be sellers, but maybe they're thinking that they can just kind of get these picks and kind of improve long term while also staying competitive enough to make the playoffs. Like maybe
Yeah,
they're thinking we're not cup contender this year, but we still need to make the playoffs for like ticket revenue or whatever, and
right. Yeah, I
you can
mean
do that with this trade.
they're definitely replacing the players like a similar caliber. I'd probably say like maybe a tier or so below um, what they traded out, but they're getting
And
good
DeHaan might be a
assets.
better fit in New York anyway,
True.
just with like their play style as opposed to like the Avs fast paced. Like they're looking for defenders to go up and down the ice more. So
Yep. Yeah. So I think Lindgren has already been fitting in pretty well. I don't know much about how the other players have been performing, but we haven't had that many games since then either. Um, and then later that day, Gustav Nyquist heads over to Minnesota from Nashville in exchange for a 2026 second round pick, which I don't think is too bad of a trade for either team. Like a second round pick for Nyquist is not too shabby. I don't think you're gonna get a first round pick out of him, but
Who was it? Was it someone on the Preds that said this team can't score? Basically, like called out the team for being terrible.
I think that was Luke Shen.
Okay.
I want to say, yes, someone on the Preds did say that.
That'd be funny if it was Nyquist. Like, well, see ya.
Yeah, it's like someone. Yeah, it was somebody who's like not really expected to be scoring. I think.
Oh, yeah, well, you're right. It was Luke Shen. I don't think I've ever been a part of a group like this that literally can't score a goal.
It's true. It's like they were really going through a rough stretch. They did have a big win against the Bruins last night, so they scored six goals or 5 goals.
Two
I
were
guess.
empty netters.
Yeah, so
Or no, maybe just one.
I think it was just one.
No, it was just one. Yeah, because it was 3-3. The Bruins tied it in the third, and then they scored two in a minute and 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Luke Shen had scored last night, but yeah, that was a tough one. But anyways, good deal for both parties. I think Nyquist will add something to the Wild. I mean, they're definitely still going through injuries. Not Zuccarello. Kaprizov is still out for a bit now. He's not obviously not the same player, but just elevate your depth a little bit. So I think that works. And then
He's back on the Wild after playing 3 games for them in the 22-23 season. So good reunion for him.
that would have been that's another reunion. Yeah. We'll get to the other one in a bit. But
He had
that's how my
5
bingo
points in
cards.
3 games.
Damn.
Pretty good.
They're like, all right, we liked what we saw.
Well, so far in his 2 games, he has no points and he's a -1 though. So
Well,
still time to trade him again. You have till Friday.
yeah, like ooh, all right. Well, we can get like a 4th rounder for him.
Yeah.
And so then after that we had a bit more of a bombshell trade with Seth Jones heading to Florida along with a 2026 4th round pick in exchange for goalie Spencer Knight and Florida's 2026 first round pick, or 2027 if they trade that one. Basically, it's a similar condition that Vegas had last year. So
Just like we expected. We said he would definitely get traded, right? That's what we said last week.
yeah, so a little bit of egg on our faces, I guess. We did talk about how he had requested the trade and it would be difficult to accommodate, but no salary retained. I don't believe.
No, they did.
Oh, there was.
2.5 million,
Yes, sorry. Okay.
and he's still got 5 years left on that contract.
Yeah. So I think that's it for Chicago's retention slots for this season. But they'll have that one for a while. So I mean, if that probably like 2.5 probably isn't going to hamper their ability to be successful in like 3 or 4 years, just because of how
No.
much the cap's gonna grow. And then for the Florida side of thing, and Spencer Knight too is a great addition. He's fit in right away.
I mean, honestly, like from the Blackhawks side, I think they did pretty well considering the player was like, I want to get out of here and I want to go to a competitive team. And I think he had like a no move clause or like, I forget what exactly he had, but obviously it did make it easy for the Blackhawks. So with all that, getting a first round pick and depending on how you think Spencer Knight is, like whether he's still a goalie of the future or like just he was behind Bobrovsky or
yeah.
if he's not great, like obviously that makes a big difference on the trade, but I think overall they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it does look like no movement clause the full way through. So yeah, that makes things a little bit harder for Chicago. obviously all the term, so you're gonna have to eat something unless you're gonna pay additional assets, which you don't really want to do. So I think it's a good compromise for them. Um, it does mean that the team is going to be absolutely that much worse. Like, although they did just get a win the other night, I think. Yeah, Spencer Knight wins in his Chicago Blackhawks debut. He had like 41 saves or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so that was fun, good little boost for the team. But yeah, without Seth Jones, I mean the decor there is just atrocious, and they're not gonna be good. They probably sell a couple other pieces at the deadline here, um, but Florida gets good depth. Seth Jones doesn't have to be like the guy like he was in Columbus a little bit, and then definitely in Chicago. He's probably going to be on the second or third pair, which I think is really good depth for Florida. Um, so it and they really believe in the player too. Obviously, with accepting up the player with that much term, like you kind of have to have wanted him for a while. So good, good fit. We'll see how things fare going forward.
Yeah, now the question is just trying to find his contract, but people are saying that like now Aaron Ekblad, he's going to be a UFA at the end of this year, so they probably won't re-sign him.
Oh, jeez. I mean, it might be. Yeah, it might be tough.
Yeah, I was trying to see.
Maybe he would take a discount. Depends on how they do this year. Like if they go to the finals again or they win the cup, like I could see him like wanting to take a little bit less to stay.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know because it's also will like are the Panthers gonna respect what he's done for the team or do the more Vegas route? We're like, well, see ya.
Yeah, right. I mean, it has definitely worked for Vegas and a couple other teams. The Lightning, I feel like, are also pretty ruthless. They did what
Damn coast.
they did what we did, yeah, with Stamkos in March or so. So we'll go to the same place. But yeah, I guess we'll see. In July, or maybe sooner.
Hmm.
Maybe they'll. I mean, they could probably still sign him to an extension now, but that would be a little bit like just okay. We'll figure out the money in the off season. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
We'll just kick that can down the road. So then we jump to yesterday, which was a three-way trade. So the Oilers acquiring Trent Frederick, Max Jones, and Peter Hauser. Um, Boston acquiring defenseman Max Wayner, St. Louis's 2025 second round pick, Edmonton's 2026 fourth round pick, and then the Devils, who are retaining 50% of the 50% retained by Boston, so 25% of the contract of Frederick, and acquire the rights to Shane Lachance. So three-way deal. Boston retains 50%, and they get a couple of picks and Wanner, who's going to be taking Pasta's number.
Yeah, yeah. I sent that picture on the Boston's website. He has number 88 uh, on his page, but he's
Unavailable.
never been played in the NHL. He's like a 21-year-old prospect, so maybe that'll be his number in the AHL.
Nah, could be. So yeah, I mean Edmonton definitely gets the best player in this deal. It's a lot of depth pieces. Like still Trent Frederick is not a top six winger or anything like that, but I know one of Dean's personal favorite players that has been on the last couple Bruins rosters. So tough to see him go as just as a fan.
Yeah, he's been fun to watch. He's been very much a Bruin, like from his first games, like I don't know how many games it took him to get in a fight, but like oh yeah,
Like,
Boston fans like we like this
yeah,
guy.
you can stay.
And
Yeah,
like he had these streaks of just like scoring like well I guess a bunch for a bottom six guy,
yeah,
but then times where like you're like what are you doing out there? He's like invisible. So I mean that's I guess a lot of guys at that level like depth guys are kind of streaky like that, but. And then Max Jones, I think his first NHL games with us were this year, and he played a handful. Um, he was fine. He,
yeah. Didn't really
but
notice him, I'd imagine.
yeah, I mean, we'll take the draft picks. Again, I've been saying we should sell, so this is the start. Hopefully, not the end.
Yeah,
Still got Geeky who scored a goal last night, driving up that trade value.
yeah, yeah. Let's get a couple of firsts.
Yeah. Um,
First liner.
and then I don't know if Marshawn probably doesn't get traded at this point, but I guess
Now with
it's
the injury,
still a possibility. It's like a short term. I think it's a concussion.
yeah. I mean,
But
he could just like sign an extension too, like just like you know what, let's just be done with it. I mean, I don't know if Boston is reaching out to him about that at this time or
I
not.
mean, you should be now, so you know. And if you're not on the same page, then the trade is on the table. I
Yeah, I
mean,
would hope. I
like,
would
if he
hope
wants,
if they've teased him to other GMs that they would yeah already know where he stands on the extension front if they sure they would at least
it's
thought
probably
about
more of
keeping him.
like a term thing because he's 36. So if he wants like 3 years, like we'll give you two. But
I mean, depends on
I mean,
what
he's been on
money. Like if it's like I
sure
don't know. I'm trying to think what 3 year deal I would be okay with.
3 by 3.
Yeah, right. 3 by 3. I think that one's gonna be tough unless he had some serious performance bonuses in there.
Yeah, well, he's over 35, so we could do
He
that.
is eligible for performance bonuses. We
Yeah,
saw
but before when we did
Bergeron
that with Bergeron
do that.
and Krejci, that was because we were like win now mode, we'll pay later and no problem. But now it's like we're trying to get better in the next few years, so maybe you do less of that. I don't know.
Also true because you
Um,
do incur an additional cost after the following season because
yeah,
of
so save
those.
cap money like now is what
Yeah,
that's
so
for.
I mean they're really not in a position where that makes the most sense. So yeah, they probably
Right
will
now he's
not
making
try to do that.
6.125, and that was like a very team friendly deal just because after he signed it, he just started popping off for like all 8 years of that.
Yeah, I mean I could see him being like, I need at least 6 million still, or
Yeah,
like, or more. Like I think I'm still worth 7 million. You know, I don't know. I don't know what some other comparables as far as his points total and earnings
right.
going forward are, but I mean,
Yeah, I guess if they can't agree, there could still be a trade. And then the only other like Bruins name that's been out there is kind of Carlo still. Like
yeah,
he would be interested if we're willing to shop him.
that would be. I would be sad to see Carlo go too because he's
Yeah,
been around for as long as I've been watching the Bruins, and I've
yeah.
always
He's
liked
been like
his
a
game.
very steady defensive defenseman.
Yeah,
Because
like
I remember like when he came in, he was playing with Chara, and I was like what a terrible defensive pair to go up against.
yeah,
Because Carlo was like 6'5" too, some long reach defenders.
those
But
guys are huge.
yeah, I'd
Yeah,
be definitely out of Marshawn, Carlo, and Frederick, I'd be most sad to see Carlo go, honestly. Like Marshawn, I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I've come to terms with just because I'm like, he's served the team well. He's a 36-year-old. I'm like,
you got to wear the C. Like, let's give it to Pasta. Like, let's get this next era of Bruins hockey,
I
or
don't think it'd be
McAvoy.
Pasta anyway. Yeah. Or
McAvoy.
Carlo, if he stays.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, but yeah, I guess that's enough on the Bruins until the next trade.
Which is coming in right now.
Yeah.
So we had a couple trades today. First one this morning, which I think was like breaking late last night. Vanacek goes to Florida in exchange for Patrick Giles or Gillies.
I think it's
This one will
Gillies.
say. Yeah, I want to say Gillies. Um, so that's replacing Spencer Knight, and maybe this means that Askarov will be backing up for San Jose or starting. Sharing the net with Georgiev. You don't know if they have anybody else really in
But
the.
Askarov had already played some games for them, no?
I can't remember if he did play any with the big club or if he just played with the Barracuda. Let's see. I'll take a quick gander for you. Any other goalies? Oh, oh wait, Georgi Romanov. I don't think I know you, Georgie.
Yeah, he played 13 games for the Sharks.
Okay,
896.
896.
But it's
That's
the
okay.
Sharks.
Yeah, like
And the
you're
two
not.
games with the Preds, he had a 943.
Damn. I mean, again, 2 games. So it looks
Oh,
like.
that was actually not even 2 full games. It was 82 minutes.
Oh, so it came in relief in one game, probably. Maybe
Yeah.
started another one. And this other goalie, Romanov, has he played two games for the Sharks last season. No recorded wins or losses, so probably also win relief. But he had a 1.01 goals against and a .967, so he's elite.
It's crazy to me that Askarov is only 22. It feels like he's so much older. I feel like he's
Yeah,
just because his name's been talked about
I
so
know. I
much.
mean, since he
First
got
round pick
drafted,
for a goalie is like not common
no,
anymore.
not typically, no. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. Oh, they still have. Oh no, that's a buyout. I was gonna say, Martin Jones. That doesn't sound. I didn't think he was pretty much done. But yeah, so we'll see what they do there. Um, and I think that works as far as a backup for Florida, like a little little cushion. I don't know who else they really had. Um, I don't know if they had any other like notable guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Drieger, I guess. They still had Drieger because he came back. So I guess a little insurance and Drieger will be serviceable if they need him.
hmm
And then we had one more trade today, which was a big one. Another three-way deal. This time, Tampa Bay Lightning reacquire, welcome back Yanni Gourde, as well as bring in Oliver Bjorkstrand, Seattle's 2026 fifth-round pick, and the rights to Kyle. Oh, man, these ones are tough today.
I think it's O'Coin.
O'Coin, yeah, that one's a tough one. Aucoin. I guess that's right. I'll trust Dean on that one.
It just feels right.
Well, your instincts are usually much better than mine, so we'll go with that.
I don't know with pronunciation.
Yeah, I guess sometimes not with those. But anyways, Seattle acquires Mikey Isimont from Tampa Bay. They get Tampa Bay's 2026 first and 2027 first, both top 10 protected, and Toronto's 2025 second round pick, and and they also retain some salary on Gord. I want to say 50%. I don't know where that is actually. Yes, 50%.
75. Well, the Tampa Bay. Oh yeah, they got Gore at 75% retained
Yeah,
because
so Yanni Gord has 25% of his salary retained by Detroit, and they receive a 2025 fourth round pick from Tampa in exchange for that. So another three-way deal to eat the money a little bit. I mean, it's two first round picks going in one swoop like that. Seems like a lot, but they've done that before. Like they did that with the Goudreau and Hagel trades, and those worked out really well. Obviously, the Tanner Janot one comes to mind because that one was a pretty big flop, and he's not with the team anymore. They got some assets back for him, but
I remember when they did that trade. I'm like, what does Tampa know that we don't? Because
I
like
know
normally they're really good with trades. It's like, oh no, like they're
it's
like,
like
oh, I guess we were right this time.
yeah, it's like okay,
Be
we
skeptical.
give him a little bit too much credit.
Can't win them all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Yanni Gord and Bjorkstrand are both worth a first.
I think they'll both fit in really well with the team. Like Tampa is still pretty deep, so just adding these two guys makes a lot of sense. They don't have like much left as far as a legit cup window, even with like continuing to rearm. I saw some Lightning fans were saying they don't really have a good replacement for Hedman when he
Mhm.
is ready to retire, and because Sergachev's gone, so we'll see what the future holds. But for now, I think this is a good deal for them. I think Seattle gets pretty good value for both of these guys, both original Kraken members, which is a little sad. Um,
Yeah.
but they get good value. I think they like Icemont, and then Detroit gets a pick, whatever.
I mean, 25 retain 25% salary and get a fourth round pick. Not
Yeah,
not bad.
no, and I don't think they only retained on Gore. There was no retention on Bjorkstrand's salary, so they Lightning took the full
That's
full
only, yeah,
contract.
retaining 1.3 million just for this year for a fourth round pick. Why not?
Yeah, and they
Wonder how that
probably
works.
they might not be buying too much either at the deadline. We'll see.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're just, well, they're more in it than,
They're a bubble team
I
right
guess,
now. They're out
yeah,
right
they're
now
just outside. They're tied with New York for points.
with the
New York has the
Rangers.
tiebreaker. It's the only reason they're in. So I mean, they're right there. I feel like you got to buy if you're Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would think that they probably would, but I guess they probably have enough cap space where they're not super concerned.
But like
Uh,
you said, everyone's trying to buy at this. Like everyone's in a playoff spot. It seems
it,
like,
it, it does feel that way.
more buyers than sellers.
So we're wondering, yeah, how many trades we really will see on on trade deadline day. Um, let's see. Yeah, they got about 4.1 million in cap space. Oh wait. Oh, but they got the deadline. Yeah, the whole deadline cap space. So they've got 12 million in deadline cap space. It's like
That's
a
the
different.
difference.
It's a different calculation. Um, there's a little graphic I'll probably throw up on here. Well, I'll make Dean do. It just kind of breaks down how it works for when you're accruing LTIR. The trade deadline cap space is the remaining amount in the LTIR pool. So for everybody else,
Oh,
then you get
right,
the
because
projected cap because of how long you've had the contract on the books. I guess I don't know.
also if you have non-LTIR cap space, it accrues throughout the year and probably until the trade deadline, I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that must be what it is. Um,
Let's see.
so it's a little confusing, but that might make it might answer some questions you have about like, oh, how is this team able to afford, this deal? It's like, okay, well, that's actually the deadline cap space money that they have to work with, and we've got other teams utilizing LTIR right now. Just I know Kachuk Matthew Kachuk is on LTIR, and we just got announced that Jack Hughes is done for the season, so he's been placed on LTIR after needing shoulder surgery again. He had a bad collision with the boards. Eichel was going in, trying to get the puck and battle with them, and then they both kind of like their skates kind of got caught up, and then they both kind of fell awkwardly. But Jack Hughes fell into the boards and hit his shoulder. So that was a tough one. It was pretty evident right away that it was a serious injury, and the team was pretty broken up in the the media. Like I think they kicked the media out of the locker room after the post game. So yeah, it's a tough blow for the Devils, and gonna really impact what they do for the rest of this year. Like as far as the trade deadline, like do they think they can still weaponize without Hughes and make a deep run, like use his LTIR money, or like just maybe reset, try to add a couple pieces this year and then see what you can do without him.
I was gonna say, I mean, terrible for a season-ending injury to your star player, but like timing-wise, it couldn't have been better. It's like during trade deadline week. Like if it happened a week later, you're screwed.
Yeah, that would be even worse. So you do have that benefit, I guess. You can still at
Like
least.
I
I mean, you
mean,
can't
you're
replace him on the trade market. Like,
no
obviously not.
Rantanen, perhaps.
Like, we'll figure out the money. Well, actually, they might just use him for this 1 year, and then
Exactly, and
not,
then
and then someone
we
else will
got it
pay
figured
him.
out. We already know what's happening on the trade deadline. Ran into the Devils. Called
Wow.
Chandler. Let him know.
It's like, I know you're down about the Jack Hughes injury, but look, here's a shiny new Mikko Rantanen. Yeah, they've been struggling a little bit lately. They lost that game to Vegas after Hughes went down,
I
so
mean,
that's
because they have
tough.
11 million in cap space, and Rantanen is already getting less than that because of Chicago's retention. So you don't
And
even need.
someone could retain again, I think, right?
Well, yeah, Carolina could
Carolina
retain, but
could
they
retain.
don't even need to. They can trade him as a rental,
Yeah.
get some return.
Dang.
But like I heard also they were talking on the Puck Soup podcast about like if Rantanen wasn't on Carolina, like there's questions about what team would be the best to like get Rantanen as a rental to deadline, and it would be Carolina. Like they're the team that's like looking to be a cup contender and needs like a star forward like that.
Yeah.
It's like if you got traded to another team before the deadline and there was a possibility of him being a rental, they're like, oh, obviously he's going to Carolina. But like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
already have him now.
They already
So
did it. They already tried
yeah.
that.
But I mean, there were talks about the Carolina GM like canvassing what Rantanen could get, but I mean that's just kind of him doing his job, right?
Yeah.
um,
Tulski.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they do.
It's a
Like
fascinating situation, and just
it's
as a
very
fan, it's
strange.
like I honestly don't know what the best like idea is, or like what makes the most sense. But I'll be very excited to see what you decide.
I think the chances of him getting traded again are very slim, but like if it happens, it's obviously could be the biggest trade of the deadline.
Maybe Crosby. No, definitely not. But yeah, if that would be.
Rantanen rental to Colorado, and then they also get Crosby in a three-way deal that sends someone from Pittsburgh to Carolina. It's like come up with the most like I wonder what's the most team trade that's like been done. I
I don't
wonder.
know. I don't. That's a good question. I know I saw this at some point, and I don't know if this is true about some of the other cap tracking tools now, but I know Cap Friendly, when it was around, uh, they said that they had the capability to display a 32 team trade, which obviously would never happen. But they're like, we have the ability to put that in the system, so um, that
I'd be prepared.
it would be pretty chaotic. I think three is always a lot, but excuse me, I think like yeah, four or five team trade would be pretty bonkers. It's like, how are we getting all these different groups involved at once? Not that many people can agree on something, surely.
This is not an easy Google search, so I
Yeah,
can't find.
I feel like that. I mean, at least as far as I can remember, I've only seen three team trades, at
Right.
most. So yeah, I don't know. That'll be, maybe we'll find that information out. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll have one today or on Friday.
Maybe.
Maybe we already had one. Before, well, I guess we kind of wrapped up the trade talk, but we have seen a couple of extensions too. So those are some of the ones. It's like, okay, we'll start to see more pending UFAs signing extensions. So that way, they don't get traded. Um, Nemesnikov, I think this was actually before last week's episode, but he did re-sign a two year deal, 2.2 by 3, which I think is good. He's a little bit older, and I think he's bounced around a bit, so good to stick around. Tyler Tucker re-signs. with St. Louis. Vegas signed a couple entry level deals, um, which I don't know much about these guys. Ali Mata signed a 3-year extension. He's done pretty well in Utah. Um, so I think that deal works for them. 3 by 3.5. He's 30 years old. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
He's been around and he's been in the league for like a while, I want to say.
Mata, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then let's see, we had a couple other. Oh yeah, so today Matthew Olivier signs an extension with Columbus, 6 years, 3 million per, which kicks in next year. I think that's pretty good for
Mm-hmm.
both team and player. I think it's just nice to see long term extensions being signed in Columbus, of course. Um,
Yeah. But also, we talked about this in like, well, not for these types of players, but for like stars. It's like, why are you signing 6 to 8 years when you know the cap's going up? But in this case, like, I just want to get my $18 million and not have to worry about anything for the 6 years. So good for
yeah,
him.
and like as the cap goes up, the superstars and the stars are mostly going to be the ones that reap the big payday increases. Whereas like for the most part, the fourth line guys, the depth defensemen are not really going to be seeing much of that. Like that, they're still going to be mostly getting, league men contracts. We're probably not going to see the league men increase much with the next CBA. Maybe like 800, 850K, something around there. But definitely not like creeping towards even a million. So yeah, I think it's smart for him. I think it's worked out well here for Olivier. He's had a good season this year, and yeah, it's just overall I think a positive for the team and the player.
Hmm. Then
Uh,
the Sabres signed Jordan Greenway, which feels kind of weird. Um,
Seemed like they were shopping him. Wait, $4 million for Greenway?
yeah.
2 by 4? Oh my God! I did not think he was. I mean, he that doesn't make sense at all to me. Like I feel like he has not performed very well with them this year. 26 games
No.
played, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. You're giving him $4 million for 2 years. Does he have like a lot of hits or something? I mean, he's got 15 averages, 15.57 time of ice. He's a -1. 19 penalty minutes. Like I'm trying to find something that justifies a $4 million contract, and I
It's
can't.
because he's a friend of the pod.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be bashing him so much.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
Zach's
Zach.
buddy.
Yeah. I mean, it
Canton,
just.
New York native.
I mean, hey, good for you. To get some money. I guess good for Buffalo to see somebody who wants to stay for at least 2 years. As far as what's going on with Buffalo. But I don't know if he would be getting $4 million from any other teams. Um, but that's. I mean, there you go. I did
Wonder
not even see that.
if Zach even knows about that. I should check.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that. Why does it say date March 6th on cap wages? But that's tomorrow. And Charlie Lindgren apparently signs a deal on the trade deadline day. I did see this one. He did sign a 3 by 3 extension with Washington. Um, well, that's good. I think expectation, of course, being he will be the backup going forward with Logan Thompson winning that role. Um, but that's still a pretty decent tandem. So I like that. We had a couple other uh, extensions. Jesper Boquist signed a 2-year deal, 2 by 1.5 to stick around with Florida. Jake Evans was a big name out there as far as like will they trade him. He re-signs with Montreal 4 by 2.85, which I think that's a pretty good deal for the team. Because with the way he's been playing, I mean, this is definitely his best year. So he could kind of stagnate a bit. But if he's like continuing to grow at the rate he's been playing, I think he could definitely be a bargain by the end of that contract. So probably smart for them not to move on from him. So I think it was a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week? I had mentioned that Pugliarvi isn't really in the league anymore. Well, he does
Hmm.
sign a standard contract with Florida, just a league min deal. I think he has already passed through waivers as well. So he probably won't play for them unless they need him for injury replacement. But there you go. He's still sticking around, still trying his best to play in this league, which is good.
Zach had not heard the news, but he just said, "Wow,
Live, you heard it here first, guys. Wow, that's pretty
wow."
much what I said
Period.
too. Oh wow. Just like, oh wow. There you go.
Oh, he's typing.
He's typing. Okay, yeah, we're
I said, "Getting paid."
getting the bag. Again, it is nice to have at least somebody signing to stay in Buffalo, even again for only a couple more seasons.
He said he just Snapchatted me back last week for the first time in 2 years. LOL.
He's working on it.
He's a busy guy.
He is busy.
I think he's the highest paid Canton-born NHL player.
Gotta be. Gotta be. I can't imagine there being many others, especially not getting
There
that
we go.
much.
Quant hockey.
Yeah, quant hockey's
One
good.
other person, Wade Megan, played 15 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points.
Legend. Who do you play
You think
with?
I can find him on cap wages?
On cap wages? I don't think so.
Oh, he's on here.
Really?
Inactive. Drafted in the 5th round by Florida in 2009. He made, let's see,
What was the league min back then?
um,
Like 550?
it was 575 his first year in 2016, and then 650. He got paid 650 for 2 years. He got signed by Doug Armstrong, then signed again by Armstrong for an 1 year extension, and then Ken Holland
Oh,
with the Red Wings. So we play with the Blues and the Red Wings.
there you go. Never played for Florida.
I think there's
Well,
anyone
that answers
from,
that.
what about Potsdam, New York?
Yeah, what about Minerva? What about all these little
Greg Conroy,
sub-regions?
the only one.
Oh yeah, Craig Conroy. He was pretty good. Obviously, current
Played over
GM for
1,009
Calgary.
games.
Yeah, wow. A lot more respectable. No offense to the 15 games there.
Want to talk about the Stadium series?
Yes, I would love to. Did
You
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 watch the
watched it.
game?
I was on a ski trip, so I did not.
Oh, right.
But I heard you complaining that it got delayed for
Yes, it was annoying.
some
that-
broadcasting purposes or something.
Yeah, you know, it was supposed to start at 6, and like coverage didn't even start like before then, and then it was just kind of saying that it was loading and nothing really was going on, and they ended up just they delayed the broadcast start. I think to like 6:35 with like a 6:45 puck drop or something like that, because they had to finish up a men's basketball game, college basketball game that was like, I don't even think it was a regular season play, or there was something weird with it where it was like, why are we bumping this like major event for a major sports network or league on your network? They didn't even have, like, I was watching on ESPN Plus, so it's like, I understand, I guess, if it's on regular cable TV like ESPN, and it's like, all right, we're just continuing that coverage, but to not have it on ESPN Plus, which is like on demand, seems a little weird to not at least have some type of coverage at all. It sucks to be bumped no matter what, but like they didn't even have like footage or like analysts or anything going on. It was just like there's nothing going on until the game turns back on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that was a disappointment, but and I'm sure the league was not happy about that. Like I feel I just so far ESPN has not treated hockey very kindly, which I kind of expected. But anyways, I don't want to derail the conversation too much away from the Stadium Series, which was fun and was a good time. Um, I had a blast watching it. There was like 94,000 something fans in attendance, which is second highest for any NHL game. Uh,
Wow.
the Winter Classic between Toronto and Detroit at Michigan Stadium was the highest. That was like 110,000 or something like that. And of course, they were playing against Detroit, and they had the Ohio State versus Michigan kind of narrative. I know there's like a big football rivalry, so there was a lot of fun football stuff that they were tying in. I thought it had a really fun atmosphere. I know Dean Evison was very into it. He was like getting real pumped up for all the goals. And the game was entertaining too. I thought the game was fun. Both teams definitely needed to get this win, unlike the Winter Classic, which we already kind of talked about.
Yeah, it was, like there haven't been many outdoor games where like both teams have playoff implications. Like it's normally like one team needs to win, but like here they're right next to each other in the standings.
Yep.
Like, very important game. They just played a couple nights before too.
Which was fun. And Columbus had beaten Detroit, so I was like, okay, you're in Ohio, like you're in Columbus's kind of stadium. I mean, not Columbus's, but yeah, Ohio State versus like, okay, Detroit really needs to get their revenge. Like, what a great opportunity to do that on the big stage. So it was also very cold. It was like 27 degrees and decent wind chill, so that must have been fun to deal with. They were, all the commentators are always making jokes about how cold they are and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. For the most part, there was unfortunately some controversy at the end with the game-winning goal. Justin Danforth is like trying to battle for the puck to get a breakaway, and then as he's kind of getting towards the puck, he high sticks one of the Red Wings players.
It was like a clear high stick, right?
It doesn't get called, and then he scores on the breakaway. I mean, he definitely took his stick
like,
and hit the player in the face with it.
like everyone agreed it was a high stick.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Yeah, what was missing
Ref is
from
looking
that?
right at
Like,
it.
what element of the high stick are they not seeing there? He completely falls over. Yeah, it's too bad that it ends that way, because it was a really entertaining game. Both teams looked like they had good chances to take it. Good back and forth. I think there were a couple lead changes, and Detroit was greatly outshooting Columbus. You can see by that replay.
Yeah, when the high stick happened, it was 46-18 Detroit.
So, and this was so this goal was late in the third period. Two and a half minutes, actually a little bit less than that. Two and a half to go in the game. So
This is why refs need to have post-game pressers.
they really do. I mean, in the game that Luke Hughes got injured, or not Luke, Jack Hughes got injured. Sheldon Keefe was like irate with Wes McCauley. They have a history, like they just hate each other, and I think Keefe has never won a game that McCauley has officiated, and like they could just stop that, like just make it so they never interact, but they don't for some reason, and So yeah, there's definitely some weird stuff with officiating. There's always going
And
to
people
be.
were talking about like apparently you can't review a play like this unless there's an injury. So people are like, why don't you just get rid of that and make it reviewable? And I'm like, oh, don't allow more things to be reviewable. Like I get in this one it's egregious. This is how offsides started with I want to say Duchesne.
Oh
The
yeah,
Duchesne
yeah.
who was like miles offside and it didn't get called and he scored. Um, and then we have offside review. And it's like yeah, for the one or two times every decade where things like this happen, it's like, yeah, I guess it would be nice to review it, but like, anytime there's a goal, there's already the possibility. It's like, oh, well, the coach is looking at the iPad. Are they going to review it? It's like, like you can't celebrate a goal anymore when it happens because you don't know.
Right.
Like, so I don't know. I don't want any more. Like, I get it's dumb when a call gets missed, but like, if you're then looking for penalties in the last 30 seconds before any goal, I'm like, oh, we can't add more. I
Yeah.
don't know what your thoughts
I
are
mean,
on.
it's tough because I think that absolutely should not have been a missed call. Like that's really
Hmm.
the source of the problem. I mean, we're like these guys are human. It's a fast paced game, so there's no way you're gonna not have missed calls, or you're gonna make calls that were incorrect. Like that stuff happens, but this one I don't feel there's any excuse for. Um, so it's again too bad. I feel for the Red Wings fans who felt they were cheated out of what could have been at least a point there because it was tied
Yeah,
late in that game. Um, but them's the breaks. They just barely missed the playoffs last year after Washington's or Philly screwed them over by pulling the the goalie when they had no chance. Um, but it is what it is. I think they still got a good chance. They're like 1 point out of a playoff spot right now, um, and yeah, overall it was a fun experience. They had the cannon in in the stadium, which was fun to hear. Everybody going crazy for that.
were you the one that said that they panned to the cannon and it didn't go off?
Yes, there was one goal where I swear they like panned as if it was gonna shoot, and then it was just they were there for 5 seconds and then nothing happened and then they just cut to something else. And I swear for that one goal I never heard the cannon go off, but I heard it on all the other goals. Maybe that didn't
Hmm.
happen or maybe like it it went off later after it wasn't on screen anymore, but I did think that was pretty funny. Just like still image of the cannon for like a solid 5 6 seconds. Um so yeah, fun time. Viewership was really good on the TV and cable side of things too. I think it was the second most watched regular season game and first for Stadium Series games or something like that. Maybe since like 2019. I have to look at the graphic again. But it was pretty well received. I think a lot of people had a lot of fun with it. Columbus obviously had never been in an outdoor game, so I think a lot of those fans were just really excited to get to experience that. Um, so overall a good experience. Okay, here we go. Memorable night. Yeah. Viewership peaked at 1.8 million viewers during the climactic finish. Um, second most watched regular season game on cable ever, and ESPN's most watched regular season game on record. Okay, so that one's not as interesting, but oh, and apparently they also did really well with merchandise sales, which Yahoo for you guys.
Yeah.
The jerseys
Oh,
look very nice.
you were part of it.
Not at the game, but afterwards I did scoop up a clearance deal, so I will be getting the Blue Jackets Stadium Series jersey, which I thought looked really good on ice. They'll probably use it a couple more times at home this year, maybe just once more. But yeah, I thought it looked really good. It wouldn't surprise me too much if they kind of used that look and then made a white version and kept the other cannon, like if they did those as their home and away. But I haven't heard any rumors or anything like that.
Yeah.
Detroit, they can stick with what they have. I did not care for Detroit's, but the helmets
You
were
like the
cool.
hell?
The helmets
Yeah.
were fun. Can't take that away from them.
No. We had a goalie goal. We always got to share when there's a goalie goal.
We
Ilya
love these.
Sorokin. Um, and not the most fun kind of goalie goal, but he made a save, and Stamkos sent it back to a defender who wasn't there, and it went in the empty net.
So he gets credited for the
Last
goal,
one to touch it.
but no
Yeah.
shot, no shot on goal. So a little different, but I said at the time he was paying homage to Billy Smith, New York
Mm.
Islanders legend, and was on all those cup runs. I think all of them, at least the first one. Anyways, who he was the first goalie to be credited for a goal in this similar situation, which I think we mentioned in that other episode with
Yeah,
Owen.
and also an Islander.
Obviously, also an Islander, yes. So pretty cool. And Sorokin did make a fun comment that he got one before Shesterkin, and Shesterkin's like, "That's not a goal. Like it doesn't. He didn't shoot. Like not a goal."
Yeah.
So I thought that was a fun little banter. They always, I mean, they train together. They both play in New York. Like it's a fun rivalry between the two.
Hmm.
So that's our second goalie goal for the season, which is pretty fun. Um,
Yeah. We
hoping,
also got a. Oh, are you gonna say anything else?
just gonna say, hoping Vegas gets one, but I've already said that.
Yeah. Bruins got theirs recently.
Yeah, you
Enough.
guys crossed one off.
Yeah. And I watched that whole game, and then I left to go to my hockey game with like 2 minutes left in the Bruins game, so I
Oh,
missed it. I was like, of course. But
yeah, that's tough. And now he's not
next
even on the
time,
team anymore.
no.
Oh well.
So we did get a voicemail this week, and I knew talking about hockey from the 1950s would summon my father.
Oh,
So that is who called in with a history lesson.
Hey guys, you kind of forced me to call in on this Bep Gwydlin, which I think is the correct pronunciation of his name. Yes, of course, I didn't see him play, but he was a Bruins coach. In 72, 73, he came in halfway through the season or so, replaced Tom Johnson. I don't know why the Bruins had a winning record. And then he coached them in the 73, 74 series. He lost in the Bruins lost in the Stanley Cup Finals to the Flyers. And then Bep Gwydlin went on to coach the Kansas City South, who after a couple of years moved to Denver, became the Colorado Rockies, and then moved to New Jersey, where they've been the Devils since. He was also the youngest player, not only to score his first goal, but he was the youngest player ever to play in the National Hockey League. And the main reason was that a lot of the Bruins had already left the lineup to fight in World War II, so the Bruins were kind of strapped for players, and
yep.
that's how he ended up playing at such a young age. So that's a little history on Bep Gwydlin for you. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Dad. Yeah, I think wasn't that what Owen said? He's like, yeah, they probably all went to World War II.
Yeah, I think we were saying something like, yeah, they all went to war.
Yeah. And I hadn't realized that the Devils used to be the Rockies, like when there's a hockey team, the Rockies, and then they left, and then I guess the baseball team was like, hey, I like that name.
Yeah, well, I think the Rockies were the or were they? I'm trying to
I gotta
remember.
look up
I
the Rockies.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember from the book, uh, if it
Oh
was
yeah,
the
that.
baseball team was first or the hockey
Did you
team.
know about the Rockies hockey team before the book or no?
Yes, I did. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So scouts for a couple of years that never worked. They were terrible, and then the Rockies were pretty bad for most of the way, and then yeah, finally moved
The
to New
Denver
Jersey.
Bears or Grizzlies. before being replaced in 1955 by a AAA team of the same name. They took the name of the Rockies in 1991. So that's probably after. Well, let's see. Which is a reflected. The
Definitely
name was
after.
previously used by the city's first NHL team. Now the Devils. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the other thing I was going to mention is he talked about like them firing a coach on a winning record. I'm like, that just seems like a very Boston thing to do. Even today, like the questionable coaching firings. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Montgomery.
Cassidy leaving and or getting fired and then winning a cup, and then Montgomery having like such a good record and then getting fired.
Wasn't
I mean, Prod
Julian?
Julian, his time was kind of up at that point, but like
Yeah.
also a cup winner, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Very very interesting. That was a fun little story from him. I
Yeah,
like getting that Bep
Epic Widlin.
Bep Gridlin, Bruins legend, coaching legend. Not really.
We've also got a Dean's Den update. Also,
Woo.
due to my hockey trip, I did not participate this weekend in our 7-1 loss.
Ooh, they need you.
Not shut out.
They need you bad.
I actually didn't look at when we scored the goal. Um, we scored in the third with 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be something like that. Oh, that's
They scored
brutal.
2 power play goals.
That's crazy
Oh,
for your
wait.
league.
Wait, that doesn't seem right.
Oh, hold on, folks.
Oh, no.
They won 7-1.
No, how did they? It says we only got one penalty, but they got 2 power play goals 10 seconds apart.
Delayed
Maybe
penalty.
they maybe they didn't take it off the scoreboard quick enough, and someone was like, "Oh, power play goal."
Mm.
I don't know. I could look through the game
The
footage if I
footage.
really cared. Maybe they only won 6-1.
Yeah, maybe.
Um, but this was against the team that is right above us in the standings, who have played one less game. So we're
Ugh.
10-8-1. They're 10-7-1. So we're not playing next or this coming weekend, but this team that we played will be, because there's two teams that have one less game played for whatever reason. Um, so this team will be playing the um, second place team. So hopefully
Go
they
second
don't
place.
win. Yeah, go second place. So then, assuming they lose going into the final week, we will both be 10-8-1. And the team in third is 11-8-0. So even if we win and they lose, I think. Actually, no, I guess we could pass them
Could
because we have
tiebreaker
a
them.
tie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's possible to
Third is
get
like your
third.
best chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best case scenario. Worst
Um,
case probably fifth.
well, we're already in fifth. We're not going to drop the sixth because we have 6 points on them.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're between third and fifth is what we're looking at. In the playoffs, you got to beat everyone. So,
Right. Good attitude,
um,
Dean. Hopefully,
yeah,
your team has a bit of a better effort than they had this past week against for the last matchup of the season. That would be good.
hopefully, yeah. And again, I'm gonna not be at that one because that'll be our hockey trip.
Yes.
But we
Very
are
exciting.
playing, and we're playing the third place team. So I guess yeah, if we beat them, then we would pass them because of the tiebreaker. Because they would be
Yeah. Right. Right.
11-9, and we'd be 11-8-1. So.
Okay. Let's manifest it.
But I don't know. That still doesn't make sense. Let's see. 'Cause, yeah, each one is 2 points, and we have the tie, so we're at 21. They have. Oh, but they have two overtime losses, and that gave them 2 points, I guess. Wait,
That
so a
sounds
tie is
right.
1 point, and an overtime loss is 1 point. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, maybe we'll just wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, maybe we can't pass them.
Mm,
So fourth or fifth, probably.
more realistically, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll have no update next week. Well, I guess we'll update this if they won or not, but we don't have a game, like I said.
No. But I'm sure we'll be covering a lot about the trade deadline next week because we're not getting that in this time around, and then we'll be prefacing our trip, and then the following week we'll have discussion about the trip. So yeah, looking forward to it, and we'll definitely be recording content during the trip. I don't know if all of what we have planned. I have like some ideas, but I'm sure we'll be vlogging and maybe do like a live stream after the games or something. I don't know. We can figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be fun. I guess one last little piece this just came out today is there is going to be I believe they're calling it a documentary about the Gabe Landeskog recovery kind of session, or not session. He's been in recovery for about 2 years for his eventual return to the NHL is what he's looking to do. So looks like the past 2 years they've been following him around, and we were concerned. I mean, not concerned, but I was a little disappointed in the level of detail for his segment in the Amazon Face Off series season 1 where he was featured. I was like, oh, I really thought we would be getting a little bit more behind the scenes as far as his actual rehabilitation. Like they had other stuff about like what he was doing at family life and a couple other minor things like skating on his own, but we didn't really get a ton of that stuff. So this will be really interesting. I feel like we haven't, at least in this era, we haven't really seen this type of documentary, about a player, especially still trying to play in the league.
I remember talking about it. Like you said, there's not a lot of coverage on it, but now it makes sense if there was a plan for this all along.
Like you guys will get it. Promise me. You're upset now, but you'll get it.
Yeah, I've watched some of like the receivers documentary where it follows like the best wide receivers in the NFL, and like some of the most interesting stuff is like their recovery and like I don't know, like electroshock therapy and whatever other crazy stuff they do to like rehab injuries. So I'm hoping they go more in depth on this. Which again, if it's all like a whole documentary just about his recovery, you would think it would. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So that's gonna be so episode 1 airs this Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern on TNT, True TV, and Max. So there you go. It's not like on YouTube or anything, but if you have the ability, I think it'll be an interesting watch if you're a hockey fan, even if you're not. It sounds pretty interesting, and we'll get a little bit more insight as far as what's going on with him. I know recently Chris McFarland basically came out and said, like, you really need to ask what's happening with him. Like he's not gonna play again this year.
Yeah.
But it's been disappointing, and he's like, obviously Gabe has earned the right to have his privacy when it comes to this recovery period and this process, and like we're still supporting him. We obviously also would hope that he would be able to make his return to the Avalanche because he's a captain and Stanley Cup winner, and that was the last time that he played for them was when they won the Stanley Cup. So it means a lot to the organization, of course. So we're hoping that he's able to make a return. It doesn't always happen that way, but still hope.
He's certainly determined to. So
yeah, that's a big part of it. Hasn't given up yet. But that's basically what we have outlined for today. We got a couple games going on right now.
And just scored to make it 3-2.
Yeah, Josh Norris, 20th goal of the season. Not too bad. Up against the Blackhawks right now. Vegas plays later tonight. They're doing okay so far. Still, they're first in the division again. Yeah, we'll give a quick update on Pass the Cup and hat tricks. Gifford, of course, still in the lead. No
I'm only 2 behind.
surprises there, but Dean is getting there. So 31 hat tricks for Gifford, 29 for Dean, Owen at 27, and then a pretty steep drop for me and Zach. I'm at 19. Zach's at 17. I think I just got one last night, but other than that, it has been pretty rough. Oh, so I guess I have 20.
Oh yeah, you did.
So all right, I'm in the 20s. That feels good. But
There you
yeah,
go.
it's gonna need a big push at the end here in order to make a run.
And Gifford's
then
getting some past the cup points finally.
He has gotten a couple. Columbus has the cup right now.
Nope, Tampa took it
Oh
yesterday.
yeah. Tampa did take it. Excuse me. So I have it now, which is good. And I think it was like either if Tampa lost and Columbus won, then I would have another opportunity because they were going to play Florida next, which I have Florida. So I'm like, okay, we'll see how it goes. But
Well,
now
so now
it's good to
Tampa
have it.
plays Buffalo. So it could go back to Gifford.
I mean, okay, like that's fine.
Yeah.
And I don't think that. I mean, I guess the Lightning could lose to the Sabres, but I mean, it just doesn't seem like they would. With how they've been playing.
Yeah, but hockey's weird sometimes.
It is weird. I mean, the Sharks beat the Leafs in the shootout.
Mm-hmm.
Came back at in Scotiabank Arena and beat them, which was pretty fun. And that was the first shootout that the Leafs had been to all season. Which that's pretty. I mean, that's a pretty long time.
I think the Bruins have only been to one.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't been to too many. But yeah, I mean,
Also, speaking of
It's a long
Tampa, they're
stretch.
9-1-0 in the last 10. So.
yeah, they are surging. And then of course they just made those trades today, so that's
Mhm.
gonna help a lot. Yeah,
Maybe
they
they'll
are,
hurt the team chemistry.
they're poised. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I would think Gord would still have decent chemistry with a lot of those guys. I mean, not everybody there was on those teams, but I think they'd be doing
True.
okay. So yeah, pass the cup. So Owen is still in the lead with 18. I have 16. Dean 14. Gifford 7, and Zach with 6. So still kind of a tight race there. We'll see.
After the draft, I thought Zach had the best team. So that just goes to show how there's
Yeah,
no skill
right.
involved.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty crazy. There's definitely a lot of luck. Like, yeah, you can get a team that just goes on a huge run. I mean, Dean drafted Washington pretty late, and obviously they had a super strong team this year, so they've got 10 cup points. It's like you never know how it's gonna go if you're gonna get the cup while a team is on like a huge hot streak, or you just barely miss it. That can be infuriating too.
Yeah, and I mean also like Minnesota and New Jersey are both doing well for me, or doing well in the standings, but they haven't gotten the cup yet.
Right, that does happen.
And even like you have Calgary, and they've been pretty good, but 0 points for them. Vegas doesn't have any cup points. Boston, I mean, they've been but actually they could get the cup if they beat Tampa in 2 games after Buffalo.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yep.
Well, I guess that's about it. Unless you had much more.
No, that was a pretty good episode for having like 3 lines on the itinerary.
Yeah, I mean we're really
The
just
trades helped.
we're really just in trade deadline waiting mode at this stage, and then yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
plenty to discuss, more extensions and more trades obviously next week. and all the implications of that, and what. So now then we'll know basically what these teams are going to be looking like heading into the playoffs, barring injuries and some like free agent signings, like the college free agents that you can grab. But that'll be pretty much it for the rosters, and then then it's playoffs. I mean, right now we're
Some
like,
of us.
yeah, well, we'll see. You get to watch them no matter what. It'll
That
just be
is
a little
true.
bit sadder.
Maybe I'll root for Detroit.
Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be
Maybe I
rooting for
won't.
Columbus.
I guess I would. I'd root for Columbus.
I think the whole world will be, except for the fans that they'll be going up against, which is like
Oh,
Washington.
did you see the like if the playoffs started today thing? It would be Columbus Toronto.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Definitely rooting for Columbus. That'd be
yeah,
so
yeah.
awesome.
It's like they've done it before. It was a little bit
Mm,
different last time, but they could do it.
yeah.
That would be really fun. Uh, but I'm just hoping that they get there, and I mean, if they were able to string together a deep run, that would be awesome, or even just get a couple series wins. So looking forward to how the playoff picture is going to shape up. We've got a little bit more time to go, but we'll keep you locked in here on the Bread Loves Hockey podcast. Thanks very much, guys, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Dean's Den, I think, is going to be pretty short this time since you didn't play.
I didn't. No, but the update isn't great either.
Oh no!